The ASICS Trabuco Max 5 and the Trabuco 14 sound very similar, but there's actually 7 key differences between them, whether you're using them for hiking, trail running, or you're interested in how they influence medical conditions. If we look at the Max 5 first of all, well, we've got 40 mils of cushion in the rear foot, 35 in the forefoot, giving you a 5 mil drop. So that's a nice even distribution of pressure across your foot. That influences how it feels when you walk and run in it. In contrast to that, the Trabuco 14 has an 8 mil drop with 36 mils in the rear foot, 28 in the forefoot. So a lot less cushioning. And the cushioning is different as well. So in the 14, we've seen an upgrade to the FF Blast Max cushioning, which is similar to what we see in the Nova Blast series of the road running models. So it's very bouncy, very energetic underfoot. Whereas in the Max 5, we have the FF Blast Plus cushioning that we saw in the previous series, and that feels very different underfoot, especially because it's much denser and much firmer. So when you initiate contact with the ground, you don't sink into it too much despite it being a max cushion shoe, and that influences the stability of the shoe and what use cases it's really good for. Now, it's a heavier shoe as you'd expect, coming in at 298 grams versus 281 grams in a size 9 men's US. So slightly lighter, but underneath the shoe it has the same lug depth of 4 millimeters, and both of them have ASICS grip underneath your foot, which is quite a sticky outsole, really good on wet surfaces, but the influence of the 4 millimeter lugs means that it can cover most types of terrain. It just struggles a little bit in deeper mud. And inside the 14, we've got a rock plate that adds some extra protection, some extra stiffness to the forefoot despite the amount of cushioning in there. So you have a little bit of give, and that's really helpful if you step on any sharp rocks or any sharp roots. In contrast to this, we've no rock plate in the Max 5, but is incredibly stiff in the forefoot. So that extra stiffness gives you lots of protection if you need rigidity in the forefoot, but the fit on top can influence that, and we'll touch on that in a moment, as I just want to talk to you about the stability elements a little bit. So in the Trabuco Max 5, we already touched on the cushioning is a lot firmer underfoot, and that just inherently adds an element of stability to it. It doesn't have large sidewalls, but what it does have is an incredibly large base of support underneath your foot. So you can see, compared to the Trabuco 14, it's similar in the heel, but in the midfoot and the forefoot it is extremely broad. So that really increases the stability because it increases the amount of contact that you have with the ground. It's also complemented by lots of sole flare. So you can see how the sole comes out wider than where your foot sits in the shoe. Again, increasing the amount of contact with the ground and helping to resist those supination moments when you go to push off. So really helpful when you're on your toes going uphill. The fit on top is very different. So in the Trabuco Max 5, what we have is a relatively tapered fit in the toe box, and part of the reason for that is the lots of sole flare, especially on the outer aspect. It means that it has to narrow the base on top of the shoe. So those of you who have a wider foot may not be ideal for you. The lockdown on top is really good, but perhaps it has a slightly shallower heel cup than some might like, and also because it's a little bit shallow on the edges here, you might get some extra debris inside your shoe. Whereas in the Trabuco 14, they just made the shoe so much wider, so much better than what we saw in the Trabuco 13. So what we have is a really wide base throughout the heel and the midfoot, and then we have one of the widest toe boxes that I've seen so far of any model that's not based on Topo or Ultra. So an excellent fit on top. The only downside to this is it's slightly low in terms of volume in the toe box. So if you've got a larger foot or someone who's got a higher instep, for instance, you might appreciate having a little bit extra volume there. Otherwise, the fit is impeccable. So what are the use cases for these shoes? Well, when it comes to hiking, both of them are excellent options. If you want a max cushion shoe that gives you lots of protection underneath your foot, really stiff forefoot, and quite an aggressive rocker, well then the Trabuco Max 5 is the winner. If you're looking for a lighter weight option that's a bit snappier, a little bit bouncier, and just a little bit fun to walk around in, then you're looking at the Trabuco 14. When it comes to trail running, well, for your long distance running, the Max 5 gives you all day protection. A little bit on the heavy side, so you're not going to do those faster workouts in it, or if you're doing a lot of steep workouts, you might struggle with the weight of this shoe. However, you can use it for those medium distance, long distance running, for those moderately technical terrains. For the Trabuco 14, well, it's a complete all-rounder of a shoe. If you wanted to use it for some faster workouts, it can do some early stage up-tempo workouts, but it's probably just slightly too heavy to do those faster workouts, even though you've got a more energetic midsole than what we saw in the Trabuco 13. It can definitely do those longer distance runs, all the way up to ultra distance. You've got plenty of cushioning underneath your foot, lots of protection with the rock plate, and loads of space for your toes to splay over those longer distances. And then when it comes to medical conditions, well, if you've got sensitivity around the bottom of the heel, some plantar fascia issues, you might enjoy the extra protection that you get under the heel in the Trabuco Max 5. In contrast to that, if you've got some issues around Morton's neuroma, big toe arthritis, you might appreciate the stiffness and the wide toe box in the Trabuco 14. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. There's links to them in the description, like always, if you want to check out the latest prices. And if you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed, please consider it, as it really makes a big difference to the channel. Thank you very much for watching.